I feel a lot of gratitude to be with you this morning, so I can share three things. I would like to share with you that I believe we are living in a very special time of human history. I believe that we are in a very special time living in an incredible transition. The second thing I would like to share with you is that I think we don't have the right tools to understand this transition. And the third thing is I think we can have these tools. And these tools, I'm going to share them with you. I think after traveling for 25 years all over the world, reading about 100 books every year about spirituality, religion, science, I came to the conclusion that the world has become chaotic. And I would like to share with you why and how our world has become chaotic. I would like to share with you what does it mean, chaos. And the most important, I would like to share with you what can we do, tools to thrive in a chaotic world. First thing, why and how our world has become chaotic. Our world has become chaotic for mainly three reasons. The first one is numbers. How many people were living on this planet about 150 years ago? Anybody knows? About 1 billion people. Basically, this was an empty world. If you can see the little white dot in the middle of the mountain, that's my house. This is where I live in the south of France. I'll show you more about my house later. How many people are living on this planet today? Approximately 7 billion. We changed from an empty world to a very full world. In less than a generation, the world population has doubled. Amazing increase in numbers. Second reason why our world has become chaotic, it's connection. Not only there are many more of us, but we are more and more connected to each other. We are connected to each other because we are living together. Approximately 50% of the world population is living in big cities. We are crossing each other every day. You remember my house? Obviously, 200 years ago, this is a 200 years old farm, you were not meeting as many people as you are going to meet today if you live in Ankara. Not only we are meeting each other because we are living in the same city, we are living each other because we are traveling to see each other. We are traveling across the country, we are traveling across the world. The little yellow dots that you see on the screen, they are planes. As I talk, there are approximately 1 million people flying in the air. We are traveling more and more to meet each other. And of course, we are more and more connected in the virtual world. 2014, almost 2 years ago, is going to remain, I believe, in history books as a very special year. This is the year that we have seen more mobile phones on this planet than human beings. Today, there are more than 7 billion mobile phones on the planet. And I'm sure some of you have 2 mobile phones, maybe some of you 3 mobile phones. Approximately half of the world population is connected to internet. More people, more connection, and also acceleration. The speed of change, the speed of changes is increasing. Humankind has been through quite amazing changes before in the past. When humankind changed from the hunter hunter-gatherer stage to the agricultural stage. That was a huge, huge change. But this change took thousands of years. And it took thousands of years to spread all over the world. Today, we are seeing even more changes. The second big changes after the switch from hunter-gatherer to agricultural stage was the change from agricultural to industrial. This took 100 years, maybe 200 years. The change that we are seeing today, the change to the information age, communication age, internet age, whatever you want to call it, is taking 30 years. A generation. We don't have the time to adapt. And because we don't have the time to adapt, this is even more chaotic. If you want to move a chair, if you want to move a bottle on the table, if you do it very, very slowly, it's going to move smoothly. If you want to do it rapidly, it's going to move in every direction and maybe fall, because the system doesn't have time to adapt itself. The world has become chaotic mainly for three reasons. Increase of number, there are more and more people on this planet. Increase of connection, we are more and more connected, and all the changes are getting faster and faster. I've been talking already several times about chaos and about a chaotic world. Now it's time to tell you what is chaos. What does it mean, chaos? For most people, chaos means mess. I'm going to show you that chaos doesn't necessarily mean mess. It actually can mean order. Chaos is a status. It's a status of a system. What is a system? A system, it's me on this stage, it's you on your chair, it's all of us in this room, and as I speak, I'm also speaking as humankind as a system. A system can have different status, like water. Water can have different status. Water can be ice, then it's solid. Water can be liquid, you can drink it, and water can be a gas, like vapor. Obviously, depending on the status, solid, liquid, or gas, water is going to have different properties. A system, all of us as a system, humankind or any organization as a system, can also have different status. The first status is equilibrium. It's to be balanced. I hope that you are quite balanced and at equilibrium on your chair this morning. It's like everything is very stable. Death is a very stable system. And then the system can start to oscillate. If I come, I won't do it. If I come and I push you on your chair, it's like if you push a swing, the swing is going to oscillate. If you stop pushing the swing will stop. There is some mechanical resistance. In science, it's called negative feedback. If you stop pushing the swing will stop. It's like a thermostat. If it's too cold in the room, then the heater will start. If it's too hot, the heater will stop. Everything's are under control. When the system is oscillating, things stay not too far from equilibrium, and things can be under control. What we learn from chaos theories is that the system can go out of control. At a certain point, which is called the tipping point, things are auto-amplifying. You don't have what I called negative feedback. Now you have positive feedback. It's like a crazy thermostat. When it's too hot in the room, it puts more heat. Even more hot, more heat. The system goes out of control. Because we are more and more on this planet, because we are more and more connected all together, we can see this positive feedback, this auto-amplifying phenomena. Let me give you an example, 2 examples. I can say, the more people on Facebook, the more people on Facebook. If there are only 200 people on Facebook, nobody is interested to join. But if there are more than 1 billion people, everybody wants to join Facebook. The more people on Facebook, the more people on Facebook. We see the same with crisis. There is a financial crisis, triggering an economic crisis, triggering a social crisis, triggering an economic crisis. It auto-amplifies. I believe, from what I see when I travel, that our world has passed the tipping point on many aspects. And we see things getting very amplified. Like, it's estimated that approximately 67 people on this planet makes as much money as half of the world population. Things get more and more extreme in a chaotic world. So now the question that you may ask yourself is, what's next? What happens to a system that passed the tipping point and has become chaotic? 2 things can happen. There are good news and there are bad news. So I will start with the bad news so I can finish with the good news. Bad news, the system can collapse. If you are an engineer or you have a scientific background, this is the second principle of thermodynamics. Everything goes back to dust. What is the first city in the world that reached a population of 1 million people in the past? As far as we know, we believe it's Rome. Rome has reached a population of 1 million, which means they reach a certain level of complexity. You need to feed 1 million people, to transport 1 million people, etc., etc. When Rome collapsed, it took 50 to 70 years to drop from 1 million to approximately 50,000. A big collapse. Still, at that time, the collapse was quite local. Even if Rome had a big empire, it was quite local, and it took 50 to 70 years. I believe that as we are so connected today, it may not take 50 years, and it may be a much bigger collapse. So that was the bad news. There are some very interesting good news. The system can also emerge. We can see what we call a breakthrough. A system, after it has become chaotic, can create a new, always more complex system. This is how our universe has emerged after the Big Bang, we believe. This is ourself, human being, quite complex system. We have evolved from a simple atom to a molecule to an organism, etc., etc. Life has evolved from the less complex to the most complex. Our world has become chaotic because of numbers. There are more and more of us. We are more and more connected, and everything is changing too fast. 2 things can happen: a collapse or a breakthrough. So the question is, who wants a collapse? Maybe some people, they won't. But I guess if you're young or if you have kids, I would prefer a breakthrough. And chaos theories are telling us that not only this is possible, but we can reach a more complex system when we could live 7 billion people, maybe more, all together in harmony, with every kid having access to a certain level of healthcare, education. This is possible. I would like to share with you what can we do. I would like to share with you 4 tools. 4 tools to not only go through the chaotic phase that we are seeing now, the smoothest way possible? And also, if you like, how can you participate in the breakthrough? 4 tools. The first tools I would like to share with you is we should stop looking at the world in a very linear way. We should look at the world as it is and not as it used to be. What is a linear world? It's a world with very clear, with very simple borders. The map you can see, it's a map that has been designed, drawn by somebody called Samuel Huntington. Samuel Huntington is an American guy who became famous after September 11th because he put all these colors. He said they are all different civilizations. I don't know if you can see, but that's interesting because an American guy put a different color for Turkey. It's a different blue, if you can see it. And what he said is that all civilizations are fighting together. This is not the world I'm seeing together when I travel. I see a very, very different world. Where is this? Do you know where is this? This is not India. Look carefully. This is actually Paris. Where is this? This is India. This is a trendy bar in Mumbai, if you go there. Where is this? This is Paris again. Where is this? It's not New York. It's Chongqing in China, one of the largest cities in China. I think the world is not like this anymore. The world I'm seeing is more like this. So when you look at this, you're like, okay, but it doesn't make any sense. What to do? Chaos theories are giving us a very helpful tool to understand this image. It's called fractals. Fractal image. Who knows what is a fractal image? Please raise your hand. Ooh, many people. I've been trying to know how to explain in a simple way what is a fractal image. And one day I was preparing a conference like today, and it was translated. And there was a translator preparing the conference before it all started. And I was showing an image of a fractal. I'm going to show it to you. And she was saying like, I don't know, I'm going to translate all these things about the fractal. And it was before the conference. She was with her daughter. And the daughter said exactly that. Mommy, it's very simple. You just draw a circle, then smaller circle, then smaller circle. That was the image I was showing at that time. This is called a Mandelbrot set, after the name of Benoit Mandelbrot, who invented the name fractal. So I thought this is a good idea. I should ask kids, if kids can see what is a fractal, maybe adults, like all of us, we can not understand, but be able to recognize what is a fractal. So I asked one of my friends, she's a teacher in a French school, and I said, can I come? And I'm going to show kids different images, and I'm going to ask them their definition. So this is another definition. There is a cross, in the cross, in the cross. That was the image. And now you can start to see how you can build or you can design a fractal image. We say that a fractal image is the same, almost the same, whatever the scale of the image. Another one. You cannot measure how long it is, it never ends. That was the image. If you put a triangle within the triangle within the triangle, it never ends. Another one. The closer you get, or the farther you go, more the same. It's like you can almost dive into the picture. It's not exactly the same, it's almost the same. I believe that when you go out of this room later today, you will start to see fractals everywhere. And if it happens, I will have reached my goal. I want you to be able to recognize fractals in nature or in your organizations or in your life. Nature has been using fractals for many, many years or billions of years. Why? Because nature knows how to live in chaos. Let me show you a couple of examples. Cabbage. Can you start to recognize the same pattern, not exactly the same, almost the same pattern is repeating? What is this? Most people think it's coral. Actually, it's not. It's a brain cell. It's a cell in your brain. We are fractals. What is this? It's part of our lung. We are really fractal. What is this? This is an old image of internet network. The way we are communicating is also a fractal. Let's see how we can apply that. Two examples. First one, you can use that in your own life. Maybe you should stop having a very linear life and get a more fractal life. What is a linear life? First stage of your life, you learn. Second stage, you work. Last stage, you rest. I believe our world, our life shouldn't be like this anymore. Maybe, I'm not sure what is a fractal life, but maybe something looking like that. Make sure that if you are in your working stage, you keep learning. In a chaotic world, I believe a big challenge is to keep learning. Learn to learn. Learn to unlearn. And learn to learn again, because things are changing so fast. Another example, the way we are producing, buying, and dispose things. This is a very linear way of seeing things. Raw materials, we produce, products, we buy, etc. I hope at home you started to recycle already. But we can go a little further. It's like a system where each disposable part is raw material for the next stage. This is called cradle to cradle, if you are interested in it. And can you start to recognize the fractal image? When you start to see fractal image, you have new ideas. First tool, think less linear, think more fractal. Second tool, when you are in the chaotic phase, control doesn't work. You remember the thermostat? The thermostat has gone crazy. My first customers 15 years ago, when I started my consultant life, were in the music industry, because I love music. And I remember 15 years ago, they were telling me, that was beginning of downloading on internet, they were telling me, Bruno, don't worry. We are going to control things with digital right management. What happened? The music industry almost collapsed. In 5 years, they lost 70% of their turnover. In a chaotic world, you cannot control. In a chaotic world, what you can try is to regulate. Stop control processes, try regulation processes. Let me give you a couple of examples. My life has become out of control with emails. Before, I used to be very proud to control things, like to treat all my emails. But one day, I realized that my productivity was going down, my level of frustration was going up. So what I decided is to try a regulation processes. I have decided about 1 year ago, I don't check my email before 11 a.m. If you ask me what changed the most my life in the past year, I will tell you that. I don't check my email before 11. Control doesn't work. Regulation can work. Every day, I meditate 20 minutes. Every day, I try to do some sport. I swim or I run. You can try one which I love when you need to be creative, when you need to innovate. It has been proven scientifically that you get more idea if you close your eyes and put your palms up. maybe later today you can try it. A very last regulation process I would like to share with you, which may be one of the most powerful. Try it at home, trying with your friends and colleagues. Every time you want to say yes, but, try to replace it with yes, and. Just by this small process, you can change your life. By saying yes, but, unconsciously, you say no, because. When you say yes, and, it doesn't mean you agree. You can say, yes, I understand your point, and I disagree. And I'd like to talk with you, and I would like to reach an agreement. Try this small regulation process. I promise that will change your life. In a chaotic world, control doesn't work. Try regulation. In a chaotic world, because things are auto-amplifying, because things get out of control, we are going to see more and more crises. Therefore, it's time to be more resilient. So I can show you how myself, I worked on my own resilience with my house. You remember the small dot? I'm in the middle of nowhere. So resilience can be quite important. So what I'm doing, I'm using wood to heat the house. I'm using the sun to heat the water, to produce electricity, to get hot air. I have a windmill to produce electricity again. And if you come to my house, you can eat the vegetables from the organic garden. At that stage, when I tell that to people, most people ask me, okay, so you can get off the grid. You can be autonomous. And I always answer, my goal is not to be off the grid. I want to be connected. I want to be connected to my community. I want to be connected to you. I want to be able to buy energy when I need, and I want to be able to sell energy. This is called smart grid. Everybody can be a producer and a consumer at different scales. Can you recognize the fractal image again? At the end of my presentation, I'm going to give you a link, and for free, you can download what I wrote. I wrote a 8 pages guide on how to prepare for crisis. How can you be more resilient? In a time of chaos, it's important to be more resilient. A last tool. When things are auto-amplifying, a small event can get amplified. Therefore, a small event can have a huge effect. Do you know how it is called in chaos theories? The butterfly effect. Bravo, the butterfly effect. Think about that. This guy, I'm sure most of you can recognize, nobody knew him 2 years ago or 3 years ago. This is Edward Snowden. A single guy changed many things in this world. A couple of weeks ago, nobody knew this company, and now everybody has heard about the Panama Papers. In a chaotic world, you can use the butterfly effect. In a linear world, if you want to change things, you have to be very powerful. You have to be the president of your company. You have to be very rich. You have to be the CEO. In a chaotic world, I can prove scientifically that all of you never had so much power. You never had so much power because we are in a chaotic world. Stop looking at the world in a linear way. Try to look at it in a fractal way. Be more resilient. Be a butterfly. And I hope that, like me, now you will think that chaos is your friend. Thank you very much.